All right, let's get right into your crypto daily briefing. It's November 29th, 2025, and believe me, we are seeing a major shift in the market today. Let's break it all down. So, the big story of the day, the headline you need to know, is all about stability. And it's being driven by a huge wave of institutional money. Yep, the smart money is piling in. And it's totally changing the game by pumping in liquidity and calming down some of that classic crypto volatility. And here's a quick look at the top four. You can see Bitcoin is holding strong right around that $90,000 mark, and Ethereum is ticking up nicely. But what's the deal with XRP and Solana? Why are they kind of lagging behind? Well, we're going to dig into that right now. Okay, first up, let's talk about the two giants in the room, Bitcoin and Ethereum. They are absolutely setting the tone for the entire market at the moment. The magic number for Bitcoin today is $90,000. Now, this isn't just a price tag. It's fast becoming a new support level. Think of it like a new floor. Investors are confidently buying at this price, which is creating a really strong foundation for the market. So, why is Bitcoin looking so solid? Well, there are a few key reasons. First, a major data center outage that could have been a disaster was sorted out, so crisis averted. It's also bounced back a solid 12% from last week's low. But the real story here is that institutional buying is ramping up, especially as a slowing U.S. economy makes Bitcoin look like a pretty attractive, safe place to park cash. And listen, it is not just a Bitcoin story. Ethereum is seeing an absolutely massive $19 billion in institutional money pouring in, and that's fueling its own steady climb. All this capital is what's pushing Ethereum closer and closer to that key $3,000 resistance level. Now, you can think of that as the next big hurdle to clear. Breaking through it would be a huge deal. This is just a textbook example of healthy, sustainable growth. All right, let's shift gears and take a look at the altcoin market, because we're seeing two very different tales play out with XRP and Solana. On one hand, you've got XRP, which is the clear winner this week. It's up 13% with a ton of trading volume. You can just feel the investor excitement there. And then on the other hand, you have Solana, which is playing it cool, the stable player just kind of moving with the market. It really just goes to show you the different flavors of risk you can find in the altcoin space. So, I gotta ask you, what's your style? Do you lean more towards the high-energy action of a coin like XRP? Or do you prefer the calm, steady ride we're seeing from Solana? Go ahead and drop a comment and let us know what you think. Now, let's pull back the curtain and look at the engine room of the market, DeFi and stablecoins. I'm telling you, this is the critical plumbing that's making all this stability we're talking about even possible. And hey, for anyone who's a little newer to this, let's do a super quick breakdown. A stablecoin is basically a crypto token that's tied or pegged to a stable asset, usually the good old US dollar. Just think of it as the super important bridge connecting traditional money to the world of crypto. And speaking of stablecoins, this is huge news. Circle just minted another 500 million USDC. That's $500 million of fresh liquidity just injected right into the market. So, the big question is, where does all that new money go? Well, the expectation is that a big chunk of it is going to flow right back into major assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, creating even more buying pressure and support. Now, for a story you do not want to miss, check this out. The company DeFi Technologies saw its stock price absolutely explode by over 20% in just 24 hours. So, what lit the fuse on this thing? This is it right here. Their stablecoin, QCAD, just became the first one ever to get the official green light from Canadian regulators. This is a landmark moment. Seriously, it's not just a win for one company, it's a massive green flag for the maturity and mainstream acceptance of the entire industry. So, let's wrap this all up. What's the bottom line? Here's your final takeaway and what you should be watching for next. Okay, here are 3 key things to keep on your radar. First, keep watching those institutional fund flows. That's where the power is right now. Second, all eyes are on that $90,000 support level for Bitcoin. The big question is, will it hold? And third, watch for more regulatory headlines. That news out of Canada, that could be just the beginning. And if there's just one piece of wisdom to take away from today, it's this. In a stable market, watch the infrastructure. The really foundational, game-changing stuff is happening behind the scenes in areas like stablecoins and regulation. You know, all of this leads to one big thought-provoking question. As these huge institutions enter the space, is crypto's Wild West era officially over? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.